he wrote a very nice book, and that book he was presenting, and his name is Dr. John Wood, I believe, and it was uh, very illustrative presentation of with slides, and also very good information that what's going to happen when the AI takes over and what we are going to do. I think a lot of problems with the employment, he said, and also mental health problems will get worse, which I was always worried about, attention deficit, and really losing the acumen of our brain power. And Even now, when I use the chat GPT, I give them instructions as to what I want to be written, and then I scrutinize the whole thing and trying to edit, line by line, and then make sure that it is authentic, and all the things that it is claiming are really examined and all. So it takes some time, but then I'm not satisfied unless I do that. Okay. So I do start things, but I cannot complete them because of the time involved. But basically, we can formulate our ideas and give it to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT would construct in a better grammar, spelling mistakes, or vocabulary, or construction of sentences, or sometimes it kind of reviews the vast amount of data it has. That's what the by definition LLM is, a large language model, right? So it will go through so many uh, you know volumes of data, and then comes up with what we are looking for. So that was really something else, right? I kind of enjoy that, giving all the um, instructions, prompt engineering I learned, and then I kind of design the prompt what I want, and then I will tell you. For example, I was uh, talking to somebody on a particular Sanskrit poem. So I just put in the first few words of the poem into the chat GPT, and then I expressed my doubt, and then I wanted to have some answer about it, right? It does go and review the ancient text where it was written, brings the whole poem, and then puts in that language, and then gives a complete exposition of that poem, which is wonderful. And also, it gives its opinion about my question. I was impressed because many of the people will not know where this thing has come and how to get it. So at the disposal of the chat GPT, these enormous amount of information there, and it depends upon what your question, in what context you have done, and how it has to be come back to you, either in a table form or in a essay form, whatever. So it all depends upon how we direct it right now. So Dr. Wood was saying right now they are kind of trying to take over the our intelligence and present everything, but still they are not completely over it. But probably by 2030 or 2035 they will take over, and then we'll have to guard it. It's kind of scary. And also he used that word too, and he was talking about various spheres, how it is going to influence everything, how machines are going to build better machines, and those machines will rule over us and all that. Uh, I think he wrote a book of mini trends or something. He mentioned that, and that book has a lot of details of what he was talking about. So if you guys are interested, you can go to uh, Clubhouse. Cecile, her name, her house. I think it's Planatrix or Planter, something like that. Cecile, her name, and you can check out their rooms. They are all recorded, and you can listen to them too. I usually get invited, so I go there. Otherwise, I would not know when they are going to do them. But very, very useful information this morning, I thought. Um, And then I was going to go and buy that book and read that book. And then he also suggested something like a London podcast or something that they meet these scientists and other people they meet, and they have discussions every so often, every month or so. That is also very good too. Anyway, this is something dramatically going to change our life because it is going to be so quick, so vast data, but everything is only confined to the data. As a human being, how we feel, how we experience, how we express things, and all that, it could be unique to us, and then it may not be able to replicate that. Okay, that means it cannot be conscious like us. You see, it's basically using all the things that to make easier for us, probably. But he said better education, better production, better health, and all. There, I have differed a little bit with them about the better health. That is iffy though, because right now the hospitals are using what like a reductionist model, right? They want to break us down as a human being into different organs and focus on each organ, right? That's a specialist and all that. They do very well with the organ, but the overall all this improvement, all this so much technology and devices, everything that we use in the hospitals is not resulting in better outcomes in health wise. That means people are not gotten rid of the chronic diseases that they are exposed to, that they are developed to because of the bad lifestyles. That's where my mission is. I want to help as many people as possible that they can live well and long and also enjoy their life, you know and also experience the happiness within, experience the energy that is there within. That's really neglected though. We are very mechanical with people. We treat them like though they are a number. In general, I'm not talking about everybody. Some people are there, they are kind of focusing on that. Some coaches are also like that, but otherwise generally it's all mechanical. And with that kind of mechanical orientation, more machines without any consciousness and all that. They may do a lot of stuff very quickly, but they would not have this first-hand experience that we human beings have. That's called qualia, and they will not have that. So understanding these developments, I was reading something about that Apple Vision Pro, that Meta, and all the reality oriented. That is going to change a lot of things, but it is still stops short at the consciousness level because it's a category mistake. Consciousness is subjective, whereas everything else we are doing outward is objective. So these machines also kind of use the data everything objectively, and they will not be able to be conscious, but they will come close to human intelligence, maybe overtake that, but they will not have the same kind of feeling or experience inside emotionally. That I think they will never have that. Okay, but they can overtake you with the intelligence. I think they make you work about how they want it, not what how do you want it. So this Apple Vision Pro also, it may create an image for you, an avatar. Yeah, obviously, right? Everybody knows about avatar, but those avatars could be completely different than what you really are as a human being. And then they will want you to shop certain way. They will want you to buy certain way. So instead of you being yourself, you will have an avatar telling you everything. So a very complicated thing there. So there are a lot of things going on in healthcare with the AI, which is kind of very fascinating to me and also very concerning on one side. On the other side is communications, remote health, all those things will be improved. That's a good thing. A lot of old people don't have to come out of their house in bitter weather to see a doctor, and a lot of doctors will be replaced anyway. A lot of machines will be working, for example, online therapists. Many of the machines are much better than the therapies that we have now, because we have less number of therapists right now, and then they are available only certain times, and then they will work with limited energy. Whereas these online AI therapists, that is computer, dealing with the questions, dealing with your all your images and all that, it can help you better, I believe. That's what also he said. So it's a very fascinating subject to talk about. Obviously, because of the health and wellness, I'll be more interested. Maybe I was interested because of that. So the how this thinking becomes more important as these computers grow and they become really dominant to take over the cognitive aspect of ours, memory aspect of ours, and the creative aspect of ours. Okay, feeling and then subjective qualia. That is the one where I don't think they will dominate us, but they can make a miserable for us, because suppose we have some tasks that are dictated by a computer. Unless you do them, you won't have the license to do anything else. That kind of thing is possible. That's what we are worried about too. you know so uh, what do you do then? So right now, you be without your cognition? Can you be a silent mind and then also enjoy life? you know so that is questioned a while ago, and then not now. Thousands of years ago, people preferred to be silent, to be really involved in their own um, silence. That means they don't have any thought. They will sit down quietly, and then they'll enjoy that they call samadhi. That means you are absorbed in your own conscious being, but your mind is silent. Basically, that's what the end of yoga says. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Chitta means your mind, vritti means all the thoughts, nirodha means stilled. So the mind is calm and completely calm. And then you get absorbed in that conscious. You are not sleepy, you are alert, but at least you are absorbed, not in the thought, not the thoughts running around, uh, like most other people do. But unless they deliberately do something, they cannot be in that, right? A lot of people. So you can be silent, you can be aware what is going on outside, but you don't have these thoughts going all around, right? That is called samadhi. One thing, as a physician, I would say, even if you have few seconds of that kind of absorption into your own inner self, you will be very healthy. That's a very big statement, but that's a true statement. The question is, how many people can achieve that kind of silent absorption, complete absorption, no trace of thought, but you're not sleeping. You are awake, alert, and you can have this kind of activity, and that is very, very healthy, by the way, because it doesn't allow the thoughts or our inputs or outputs of whatever stimuli, and movement of thought is not there. Because that is not there, then you don't have any effect on the molecular biology of the brain to secrete hormones. Either good or bad hormones are not secreted, right? And if you can go there, actually, there is some work going on right now. It's called knowing what is a quantum body and what is the healing response that we have within us. How can we cultivate that and get used to that, and thereby chronic inflammation, chronic stress, or you know, radical elements by working on our cells, causing all this oxidative stress. Those things can be managed by this kind of what I said about samadhi. So it's very difficult to get it. I can I don't want to promise anything people that is going to just like that, but it can start with just sitting down with yourself, nobody, no device, nothing, right? Just to focus and withdraw senses, withdraw everything, and then sit down there for a few seconds. Then make it few minutes. Then, if you can do it like a 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like that, that's a big deal, right? But even if you have like somebody, like a train is going in the far distance, and there you are in your room meditating, but you heard that sound from the train, and immediately your mind creates a series of thoughts, one after one, right? Sometimes it can be so quick, you can go around the world and come back, right? It's that quick, So it's not that easy what I'm talking about. But the very fact is, once you allow yourself to be non-reactive, more like, very emotionally stable, even though you are getting a lot of stimuli, that's a very healthy stuff. That's common sense. Anybody will know that. But to cultivate a behavior that will give you that state just by yourself doing it, not by taking any medication, not by taking any outward device that will give you a shock or something to keep you like that. None of that. And also these days, microdose of psychedelics have come. A lot of people are taking them because they have this kind of inner enlightening experience or inner complete tranquility, or this samadhi I'm talking about in a minor dose and all. But I am really not for it. Sorry about that, but I'm not for it because I, for example, I'm like this. If I can calculate by my mind, I will do that so that I will retain the capacity to do that rather than using the uh, calculator. Okay, because I want to retain my math skills, I want to have that sharpness not going away. I may do more of an exercise like that. There is a form of mathematics in the ancient times, and still it is available now. It's called Vedic mathematics. With that, you could do complicated mathematical formulas just like that. With your own mind and with your hand, you can do that. So I taught that to my children a little bit, but they were both are not interested in the mathematics related jobs. So they went into different. One went into business, other went into music, right? But that was a good thing that you could learn. Anybody can learn, and by doing that, you can cultivate your own natural memory to be more better, your own imagination better. Um, See, in Western vocabulary, there's only one word to describe mind. But in ancient times, the mind is has so many names. You use according to the context, according to the function, how it is doing. Suppose it is remembering something, it's called smriti. Okay, the function of memory has the mind. That mind is smriti, a quality of that. And then suppose you are aware, it's called prajna. You know, and suppose you are intellectual and you are using intellect, is called medha. And suppose you are spiritually oriented with your mind and you are think of only extraordinary god or whatever your belief is, right, your faith and all that, and that is called dhi. And then if you are very tenacious about these kind of activities, it is called dhriti. So these five qualities they describe, and they composed some of these musical lyrics according to a scale that will stimulate these things. So anyway, um, so I'm at a very fascinating intersection of AI and also ancient way of looking at the mind and all that. There's a lot of things were taught to me because of that interest, and I was able to understand things better. And the best thing is, my mind is better than before, and I'm able to do a lot more work. But then I can reach out to a lot of data through the chat GPT and things like that, and I can produce a lot of things that I want to do much faster, you know. So as far as I can see, there is a mix of AI coming at us. So we have to be smart about knowing what is going to be a good thing with the AI, and what's going to be really swallowing us by the AI. So people who are sleeping, who are not paying attention, I think they will regret that. But people who are really embracing AI, but at the same time cautiously looking at it. What are going to do to me? What is that your plan? And all that is good. So the creators who are developing these systems, they must be much more responsible than what they are. You know that, right? Elon Musk sued ChatGPT people because they said initially, we don't want any money. We're going to be a non-profit company, and then that is a grounding board principles, right? And then they kind of ignored it, and then they borrowed money, not borrowed, they got money from Microsoft to make it a profitable thing. And now they have this chat GPT-4, they have to pay $20 per month. That was against the grounding principles. Elon Musk was there in the beginning, and he is saying Sam Altman is he has lied, and then he's creating this AGI, which is going to be very dangerous for the humanity. That's what Dr. Wood was saying this morning too, but not in so many words. But he was concerned about some things, but at the same time, he wanted to know more about it and then more awareness of it. And I agree with that. We have to have more awareness of where the AGI going, when it's going to come, and when it comes, what happens to the economy, to the general things and all that. For me, uh, they are, see, basically what they are doing, they are aping human mind, human intelligence, and they say the machines can do faster and more at scale. That's why it can do a lot more, lot quicker, right? And but when it is doing it, would it be so powerful that it will overcome us? That's an existential threat. That's what Alan was saying, that these people should have taken so easily. Uh, they shouldn't have advanced this so quickly, and they should have put in more safety measures. That was the agreement initially, I believe, but then they kind of sold it off and then made it a profit um, thing, right? But if it is doing something for human beings, that's okay. But if it is kind of threatening our own existence, then we need to pay attention to it, right? So that's what Dr. Wood was saying this morning. Okay. So when we talk about this thought proliferation, thought rich needs, doesn't mean this kind of too much thinking about so many uh, uh, things that are trivial. They're not really going to enhance the quality of our life or improve the anything, right? You may know more about everybody else's gossip. What use is that? You may know more about other people's whatever going on, and you may know plans of somebody like Trump, what he wants to do to the world, that kind of thing. And also, you may have more people spreading all sorts of news that's not right. So we'll be in trouble. We are already in trouble. So many things are not true, but they are coming at us, right? So in that atmosphere, what are you going to do to protect your mind? So that's where these practices are good. One is to withdraw the senses, it's called pratyahara, and go for a walk in the woods, that is called forest bathing, where you do essentially that you can allow the senses to go and listen something, but then you withdraw deliberately and practice that. Okay, basically you have the stimuli, you received it, but you are neutral to it. You are not suppressing it or you are not yielding to it. I hope that makes sense. But in yoga practice, that is pretty common, doing that yoga pratyahara. So actually, one of the is the fifth step in those 8 steps I described about the mind yoga. It's like a preparation to what you are doing to do with your own mind. So you're telling the senses, don't go out and bring anything. If you bring something, let me not react to it because I'm going to gather my thoughts, concentration, be one thought, that is the meditation or dhyana, and then I'll go beyond that one thought into samadhi, which is absorption into the silence I can point, right? Then I'm really regenerated. I'm really that feeling of silence is something you cannot describe. You have to experience it. Everybody can experience that. But once you experience that blissful peace, that what it is, because there is no agitation of the mind, and also it produces that calm, happy nature of feeling, then it's basically enormous feeling of happiness. Not for anything, not for you're gaining something or other, but basically you're joyful and blissful in that silence. Okay, and Western mind is built on thinking everything is thought. You know, so very few people are coming out of it, but people are trying and coming out of it, but it's tough on them because everybody else is stuck in that intellectual thought, and then they stop there. That's a if you use that intellectual thought as a means, as a tool, you have no problem. But if you think that is everything and you thought that you cannot do anything, that's why you don't want to calm your mind. Nobody can do anything about that. Okay, so very interesting times are coming. On one hand, we know more about the ancient systems now. There were so many studies done with the meditative monks from Bhutan, from Sikkim, and from India. Dalai Lama himself, he of course he's a meditator, right? Tibetan Buddhism, there's a very deep philosophy, like Indian Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. This is also Tibetan Buddhism is very deep and nice. So they bought those monks. They have such a what is called introspection and introsity. There's a visceral also. They can control the heart rate, blood pressure, and all that metabolic process, and also they can control their independent viscera, that is liver, heart, and all that, right? So they brought them, and I think what was that? Messinger, I think, Institute in Kansas. I hope I'm saying the correct name, but that is the one which conducted experiments on people with hypertension, and also they are meditators and they can control their mind, right? But then they brought these monks who are working in a very trying circumstances, very cold weather. They have very few means to even to have clothing and all that, but then they kind of don't succumb to the sensation that they get from the cold and all that. So anyway, that's a different process to understand. But basically, they can withstand extreme uh, temperatures, right? Either very cold or very hot. They can do that. How are they doing it? They did. I think that institute is called. uh, Messinger or something like that in Kansas City. They brought them, they hooked up all these machines and then let them meditate, let them do what they do normally, and then they found out that they can stop the heart for a few minutes and then they bring it back. You know, so they thought he's dead because our medical definition is if somebody do not have a heart rate for more than 3 minutes, we say he's arrested, he's gone. Right? But then these people are sitting there for 15, 30 minutes like that. You know, so they did those studies way back in 70s, not even now. But lately, there was more studied about yoga, physical exercise, what happens to you. And for example, the sun salutations that I always talk about, uh, which is like a series of 12 asanas combined together, like a dance, you will do that, right? That is called a salutation to the sun, sun being the one who is giving our life. It's like we're going to that God that is in front of us, right? We know about it. Without Him, there is no sunshine, there is no life on earth, right? That's why. So they compiled these 12 asanas together. You know, when you do them, you have tremendous effect on the body, on the spine, and also in your psychological makeup and your mental makeup. So that's a very recommended exercise. If you want to learn that, I will teach you if you want to. So all these measures, all these things are studied. That's my point. They are being put to scientific scrutiny so that many people can really get the benefit of it. That's the only thing, you know. And lately, it's like a religious feeling is gone from a lot of these religions. So uh, spiritual but not religious. SBNR. I think that is the movement. It seems that is the largest movement among the faith-based everything. This is the largest segment of population that are like that, spiritual but not religious, right? That means they believe something and they think something is going to happen because of something else. That is God. It's more like a how much knowledge I can have about these things, how much questioning I can do, how can I come to a rational conclusion that this is good? Like, for example, we know certain chemicals are harmful to us, we won't let them be on our food, right? So, like that, you know, if you understand the validity of it. For example, many people sit in the chair and then they'll be uh, slouching in the chair or just leaning in the chair and all. That itself pretty harmful. Okay, if you lean forward, sit straight most of the time, then the spine will be much more active, much more strength and all that. Okay, so these days we're talking about prolonged sitting is like a smoking, right? We are telling people don't sit around for a long time. Maybe every 10 minutes, just get up and walk a few around your desk. That's enough, you know. And then do the regular walking, regular whatever you do as exercise, you know, that's very good for you, right? So, lot to look for, a lot to think of the scientific validation and scrutiny. I myself, I'm in a major mission in my life. You know, I don't know. This is the place to tell you guys, but I'll just indicate briefly. What it is when you, like I told you earlier, if you can make your mind go into samadhi, which you can easily learn, you know, and then be quiet for a few seconds in a day. It has enormous health benefits for you. If you check it, my very first talk here on wisdom was about this. I thought maybe nobody took it serious, but I was serious, you know. But they didn't know me or anything. Probably they might have thought, "What is this ooh stuff?" or whatever names they give. Right? They give wonderful names for whatever they don't understand. But in that first talk, I said self-realized person has the highest health possible. Okay, go and check it out. If you, I don't know whether they keep it there or not. I remember talking about it as the first talk, and then that may be difficult to understand. Also, I give it that is true, but uh, now what it is I want to be a chief wellness officer is a major health system where I can really help the people. Usually, they'll hire people that kind of position for so many thousands of patients and employees are there, and this is a new role developing. So our job is to keep them well, right? I do it with my friends, with my colleagues, with my relatives, all that, and also who are following me. But when I do in an institution, for example, I'm saying, okay, calm your mind in the morning, in the evening. I'll take a 50 people who are doing that sincerely and trying to be getting the benefit, and other people who are, they say, "Ah, I don't have time, or I don't know, I don't cannot do it," and then they do whatever reason they do it. So you compare the data very simply, because that is the advantage of working in a academic hospital or other. I have been more like a practical physician. Also, I was not in the academics, right? So that's what I want to do: gather data and subject that conclusions of the data to other experimenters, other people like so many. There's one gentleman I met from Germany. He was very interested in what I'm talking about meditation because he is a neuroscientist. He works with the mind and all that, right? So anyway, so having that kind of data, I want to present it to scientific scrutiny. Thereby, we can generate some evidence based conclusions and then help people. If I just say, oh, this feels so good, so blissful, what good is that? Some people may believe, but many people think, oh, whoa, stuff. Is that what is that? And then they will walk away. They never get the benefit of that. Okay. But I was enjoying the bliss for years, and I've been telling people about it. But what I want to do now is I want to put it with a scientific scrutiny, where those data can be. You see, the way we do it is somebody finds a scientific thing or whatever that happens, then many people go and experiment with it, and then they have their own patients and all that, right? Suppose I'm saying I don't have to give so many medications to my patients. I'm cutting them down because I know how to safely cut it down and also how to monitor and how to help them improve their quality, but not put them in danger, right? So that kind of cautious approach should be there with these things. So I did with the hypertensive patients, I did with the diabetic patients, obese patients. Just the other day, I wrote a book on non-invasive measures to deal with the morbid obesity epidemic in the world. It's not just America, all over the world, right? So I gave the rough copy to a cousin of mine in India because he has a son. He's morbidly obese, you know. So I gave them. So one of them I will tell you how you eat your food helps you a lot to eat less and also to digest better. And also, so simple thing: don't eat unless you are hungry. When you are eating, eat in silence. When you are eating, chew it and then enjoy that, savor it, and then eat for prolonged period of time. Don't stuff yourself and eat more. So what happens then is your stomach will fill with a lot of saliva also, so it will take less food but enjoys it because chewing it is absorbed better. And also you are waiting for the hunger to be very high, then you can absorb everything much better. Okay, of course you have to pay attention to the content, you have to how you grow it, how you cook it, how you prepare it, all those things I talk about. But all these things are no drugs involved. just understanding non-invasive measures that you could do, commonsensical things, but we don't have the time because we are occupied with our own thought. We run after everything, right? Doing, doing, doing. No, calm down, pay attention to your system, be respectful. Then there is what is called metabolic enhancement that can be done by with some breathing that I teach my students. Then you can burn and you can stimulate your metabolism much better. The name of that is called Agnisara. Agni means the fire. By doing this breathing exercise, you can create a fire within yourself, and then that fire of thing really burns these calories much better, and also utilizes them, converts them into energy, and then you can spend all the energy. It doesn't turn it into stored energy of fat. So that's the thing, right? You can have a pear shape or apple shape obese body, but you can have a very good blood chemistry, very good healing response with it. That's what we are trying to teach these days. It's called quantum body. In the quantum body, you have better healing response. That's why you don't get sick, even though you're exposed to bacteria and all that. Okay, but people want to live unconscious life, not knowing any of these things, and then go and expose themselves. Don't have any inner resilience or immunity, and then they get these unusual infections. Then it spreads all over the community. We experienced that a couple of years ago, and that's going to happen more unless you kind of understand how can I have this inner immunity resilience can be improved. So I'm doing that. The few people that really want to understand do it with me, and they are very happy. But I want all the data gathered in a hospital, in a health system where we can. Simple things are they are doing already. They have these nurses that come to, you know, pharmacy, or they come to your house and all that, or they have this remote monitoring now. You can continuously monitor your blood pressure remotely. You are out there, you have the watch, or you have some device that you can wear. That's going to be more and more convenient. Then you will be having more personalized medicine, and that means your role will be a lot, and then you will be beneficiary of that too. So exciting things coming up in medicine, and I'm going to be bringing in this angle of ancient wisdom in wellness. That's what I determined, and I am writing this book, almost done now. Is there? Actually, it is done. This is called Modern Challenges and Ancient Solutions. How can you have a modern challenge like global heat, and what the ancients did with the nature, and what did they do with the consumerism, and also protecting the earth? And I want us to go and visit that and adopt the philosophy if you think that is right. So I just want to bring it, my argument of how to deal with. The next one is rampant wars, continuous wars. Why the ancient faced this kind of violence, but at the same time they remain non-violent? We can be talking about that. And obviously, I talk about corporate wellness and I talk about individual wellness. They're separate chapters. They're altogether 8 chapters are there. The last chapter is about take home whatever you want, but the first 7 chapters are different problems. Okay, you will get to see that, and you can study and tell me what it is and all. Maybe I will discuss this in this room, so a little bit of it. Okay. Um, so I decided to do that kind of subjecting all that I'm talking about to scientific scrutiny while we are applying it to willing patients and all. Like for example, somebody is hypertensive. He comes into my office and he's on a lot of medication, and the medications are causing interactions and side effects and all. That is very common, right? Then I would tell them, okay, tell me how you are. Are you very um, angry person, or lose your nerve very easily, or worry about things, react, and all that. That's kind of history we take it. And also, do you exercise, or you're a sedentary person? Do you have loving, kind, nurturing relationships, or your relationship is toxic? Do you have many negative people around you? All these things, they're commonsensical. But then putting that all together and then bringing the Ayurvedic knowledge of which kind of dosha is out of balance, and then correcting it just by knowing how he thinks, how he does relationships, how he relates to everything else, right? And also what is his diet, what is his activity, and all that, right? So now I kind of gave them a non-invasive understanding, like, and also an insight into his own lifestyle, and give them tools of how he can be opposite. For example, you are only thinking of work, 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 then I will give them break. Okay. If you cannot take 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, just a few minutes in the middle of the day and go to a neighborhood garden or somewhere and be with the nature, nothing else. Put our devices before sleep and after getting up, don't touch them for half an hour. Things like that. Okay. Understanding the culture, understanding the toxic points, understanding what can act against those toxicities, and actively putting it in our life. That's what is needed, right? Just because you are making a few bucks doesn't mean all that lifestyle is going to be good for your health. So a lot of people are in that stage. Either they are needed, or they cannot help it because their life situation is such that, or they are greedy and they don't care about this and they want to live whichever way they want. And then they, when their health is spoiled, then they will lose all the money that they earned anyway. You know, and many of the people are like this, right? They what do they do? They kind of look at the John next door and say, "Oh, I should become the success ladder like him, and I want to climb that." You know, even though you know John was sick at the end of the ladder, and you are going to be like that too if you don't do balanced way, right? If you tell them, they'll say, "Oh, you are against the market economy, you are against the capitalist." No, you are not. It's just that you know the uh, utility of this kind of efforts, and also you see the side effects as well. For example, people are drinking and driving, and we see the other end where people get injured and then come and completely either die or they lose a limb. So many things we see them, right? Unless you are very uh, resistant and you're really insensitive, you cannot help but react, right? So, as a physician, that's what we do. We react because we see the tragedies. We see the tragedy of a old man working for 60, 70 years. Then he's out of the job and immediately he is placed in the nursing home and he lives there like a vegetable. No life, nobody visiting, nobody really making connection. Slowly he will deteriorate within a few weeks coming to the nursing home. I've seen that quite a lot. So don't have to suffer the chronic diseases that way. You can manage them. Don't have to live long but miserable. You can live long, but then you can be enjoy and live by understanding all this knowledge. That's all. Okay. Don't believe anybody. Investigate, research, find out. Then you'll know about it. Okay. I'm not preaching you guys. I'm just telling you. So I'm kind of planning this, collecting the data either way. Either they are coming to my institution and then doing stuff that we do anyway, but then collaborate with other people who are doing this kind of research. And also, because I'm an informatician, I have that problem skill about data and doing that into medical studies and meta. I can even do meta-analysis where I don't have to do any fresh data. I can go to the data that's already there, like 1,000 diabetics are there, and I can say what is the best treatment regime that worked for them. What is my regime where I kind of focus more on the diet and exercise and relaxation and sleep, right? All these things are done through yoga and through martial arts, through any of this awareness based, not thought based. See, that is the problem with the majority of the modern society. I won't say only Western, now India also. Modern society problem is they worship it like they think that's the only thing. It's an excellent thing. It's a good tool for us, but don't let it dominate you to the extent that you lost other faculties. Okay, so you may have it once in a while, but you are not intuitive all the time. You are not aware all the time. You see that anybody can. If you are sincere, you will admit that. Because the whole thing is fed more and more. The engine is fed more, so it is kind of driven out of your control. And the danger is coming. AI is going to take over that intellect, and then you will not have no use for it because that is so much superior than you. Then you will not have that tool that you are banking on all these years. Okay, be careful. Understanding what is awareness, what is conscious thought, how can we use that, how can you dump it when you don't need, all these skills are kind of soft skills. I kind of have been talking about them, practicing them for years, right? And I help people to understand and gain those skills at the bedside, because especially for our physicians, we need to train them because they have a lot of problems because of that. They're excellent technical people, they're excellent intellectuals too, but they don't have the people skills, and also they don't have this bedside manner, we call it. That's nothing but soft skill, right? And if you don't have the soft skills, then you could be endurable to the patient. Patient loves you if you listen. Patient loves you if you show some empathy. Patient loves you if you really understand and feel for his pain. Okay, empathy, right? If you have all these things, you won't get it just because you're clever or just because you're a technically brilliant person. A surgeon can do very good surgery, but he doesn't have any fans because he barks at them. Many of the surgeons are like that. They bark at people. They don't suffer fools, and they're brilliant people in this craft, but they never focus on this. But if you meet them outside, something they may be nice, but in the middle of patient care and all that, they think what I'm doing is the biggest technical skill, so I can abuse everybody. That happens even now. So anyway, so my mission is to really subject some of the things I'm talking about to scientific scrutiny and do fresh uh, data and present it to people, and that way it will be accepted generally and everywhere else, so that it can do the good I know in my hearts of hearts that it can do. I am the example for you guys. I have not been using medications. I've been going around. I'm doing more stuff now than before, and I'm actually have a recurrent energy. See what I call ever renewing energy. So there is a way to deplete energy, there is a way to renew energy as you are doing it. That is called ever renewing your energy. That is possible. Okay. And molecular biology is going to take off, and we will know how you are biological age and chronological age. You may be 50 years chronological age, but your way of living, your way of diet, and all that is so good. You may be 35 years old biological. That means you are not developed. All these indicators that polymerases and all those things that telomeres and all that, we can do that now. We can tell you what is your biological age and what is your chronological age. I'm like a 69, right? So my biological age is maybe 40, 45, and I won't be surprised if it's because it feels like that, right? I don't feel like an old creaky man, even though there are some problems come, I fix them right away, right? So it's all a question of being aware of the developments, being aware of the knowledge that was there, but don't be kind of this. Some of the scientists are the kind of a whatever we know, that is the only thing. We don't want to open our mind. We don't want to examine anything because you have prejudices against the East or against Hindus, against Christians, against Islam, whatever uh, you know. You have the prejudices that you suffer. You think you are become so superior because you have that. Then you are losing the knowledge. That's what happening with a lot of scientists. We call this scientificism. That means whatever somebody said, that's the only truth. But actually, real scientists will not say that. He would say, this is the truth we know thus far, but it could be changed. Like, what happened, see, with Einstein, our whole perceived time space thing has changed because he kind of saw that theory of relativity and all that, right? So the same thing. So if you are smart, if you really know, you don't say whatever you say is the truth or whatever is presented is truth. You got to investigate. You got to go into that. Maybe you will find something better. you know. I'm convinced if you have the latest modern scientific things like a microbiome, like a genome, epigenetics, like a molecular biology, neutrogenomics. So all those things are very good, and but in individually they won't do much. You got to know the whole human being. So if you want to know the inside of a human being, turn to the east, turn to the consciousness studies, and know, because they are, if you take a quantum theories now, they are saying the same thing that age old ancient um, people said, some of them. So because you don't know anything about it doesn't mean that's not true. They have done wonderful things with that. They have developed these lifestyles based on their insights into consciousness. So that's where I'm differing with other people, is these are all based on thought, which is changing all the time, but that is based on awareness, which is steady all the time. Okay. So I hope I haven't rambled. I hope I did something valuable. Nobody coming. I don't know what is the problem. I will take leave now. It's already 7 o'clock here. I will talk to you. I was in the middle of making another video, so I will go back and do my videos now. Thank you very much, and I will reveal more of my book and my plans for the scientific scrutiny of the things that I am getting benefit from, and you will see them a little bit. Okay, thank you.